Thomas Jr. here, aka Mustache Time, playing review catch up once again with my review of Krampus. So this came around Christmas time, naturally, and I almost didn't catch it, but then I noticed that this is a movie that came out, and I actually did want to check it out. And to my surprise, this movie was actually pretty good. I mean, for a for what I almost assumed was a comedy horror, but it was just labeled as a horror. But anyways, this movie has this kid who's writing this wish to Santa, and then after seeing his family, his uncle's coming over, and then his extended family's coming over, and they read the letter, and then he gets upset. And after his dad talks to him, he decides that he's gonna rip up the letter and send it on its way. And after that happens, odd things start happening. It starts to snow, but then the teenage girl who has a boyfriend goes out, does the cliche thing of like, oh, I'm gonna separate myself, and then she gets kind of killed. I guess I think she got killed by like a spring trap or something, like the little box, but it had something inside. I'm not sure. It pulled away, so I don't know what it was supposed to be. Uh, the father and uncle decide to go out and check it, and they might go in the house and they see it's been ransacked and such and such, and they see that something's going on, and the uncle gets trapped, or like by a bear trap, or what he assumes is a bear trap, and then ends up being like a Krampus monster in the snow. And then they go back in the house and they board up all the windows and doors, and they're trying to figure out what to do. And slowly but surely, these monsters that are accumulating, some of them are coming from the present, some of them are coming from like other toys, some of them are just seem to appear, I think. And they start taking some of the two girls that were with them, and then like their aunt sort of gets captured and then fights back, and all this other stuff happens. And the grandma, I believe it was the grandma, finally decides to tell them the story. And to my surprise, there's actually like this John animated thing, so that was kind of surprising. And then after that, even more of them, they decide that they have to leave because the Krampus has taken like even the baby, and then I think they took someone else, but I don't remember which one it was. So the family has to go outside because Krampus is going to come down, but the grandma decides to stay behind while the family advances. She gets caught. Then the father gets caught, and then the mother gets caught. And by the time we sort of reach the end, it's just the son and one of the cousins that managed to get out. Um, and then the son is like pleading, like, "Oh, I don't want this." And then Krampus throws him in the pit anyways. And then it did something that I was almost like, "Oh no, they're not gonna do it," but they kind of did it, where it's like, "Oh, it's just a dream." But the son wakes up, and it actually lasts a while, where he's like going downstairs, and the family's all happy, and then they're opening presents and such, and the son's looking around like, this is kind of bizarre. And it looked like it kind of had a bit of a filter to it, so it was a bit suspicious about how they were acting and how long it was lasting, only to find out once he opened his present that it was like this Krampus spell. And then everyone was like almost, it seemed like they were almost reminded of what had happened to them. And then it pans out, and it shows that they're been stored in this little snowball thing. So the ending to this really reminded me of Jeepers Creepers a little bit in the way that ended. So in the end, while the scares were and the characters are a bit, they were okay. I mean, typical characters you would see, but I still found myself invested in the story, and I really appreciated the animated aspect that really caught my attention. And the ending also was a breath of fresh air for me, as I thought that they were gonna go for the dream thing, but then they pulled out of that and said, no, this is the ending. They actually all did really get trapped there, so that was pretty nice. So in the end, I actually ended up enjoying this movie a little bit more than I thought I was going to. So I'm gonna give this movie a 6 out of 10. I mean, it's, yeah, like I said, it does still have to go through some of the cliches, but on the other hand, there are some elements here that do really work, including the animated little part, the backstory, and the ending in particular. Really pod that. So that's my review. And if you haven't already seen it, maybe check it out on a DVD. I don't know. So my name is Thomas Siller Jr., aka Mustache Tom, and I'll see you guys next time.